You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging in there for me. I am in a different location today, so that is why everything's kind of a little bit different. Typically, I'm in my RV doing my webinar, doing this podcast on a regular basis. But I am now at my mother-in-law's house, and I've been hanging out here all day. And so it's a little bit different setup. So I appreciate you hanging in, and thank you. You guys introduce yourself to me if I don't know who you are. We have a whole bunch of new Storage Nerds students that have been joining in the last couple of weeks. Just a quick reminder, you can go to StorageNerds.com if you want to get into the coaching program. That is ending on Friday of this week, right? To be able to talk to me about the coaching program. Okay, so you can apply at StorageNerds.com and then get on a call and chat with me. So I see, yeah, Anthony just joined, Luther's here, Jennifer's here. We got a lot of good. Kate is here. Awesome. Latasha's here. So I got a lot of good students here. Okay. And then also these sessions are recorded. We launched the Storage Nerds Podcast, just so everybody knows. We launched it this year. And so you can go on to iTunes or, wherever you go, Spotify or whatever, to find to find us and to listen to us. So if you miss a session, now it takes a couple of weeks for for this session to be released, just so you won't have like the very next day, but essentially you'll have something coming out, right? So you'll be able to listen in. I do these sessions every Monday night. All my students come and hang out, and then any guests can come and listen as well. Today, what we're going to do, since I've had so many students, joining in the last couple of weeks, what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to find storage, right? How to find storage, the way that I find it. All right. So I'm going to show you guys kind of what I do. And that way you guys know what your first steps are. And actually, is there anybody here that's like, this is their first time that they've ever been here to listen to me? I'd like to know that. And let's see what else. And then also, is there anybody here that actually owns storage facility? That would be good too, as well. And I see Yukiko's here. Hi, Yukiko. Yukiko teaches for REI USA, which is another company that we own. And she teaches small multifamily. So you can always check out REI USA as well. So rei-usa.com. And then you can learn all different types of ways to invest in real estate. But okay, all right. So I appreciate you hanging in. So what I'm hanging in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about so I want to get started in self-storage investing. What do I do now? What's the next steps? Okay. Which is basically kind of one of the things that I hear. It's like, I really am interested in this, but I don't really know what to do. So I'm going to show you kind of how to find them. Now, just a quick reminder that my 2-day boot camp is this weekend. My 2-day boot camp is this weekend, and I'm going to take you through all 4 stages of investing in self-storage. Stage 1 is finding them, funding them, and deal analysis. That's basically what it is: finding, funding, and deal analysis. Stage 2 is onboarding. Stage 2 is like, I've got something under contract. Now what do I do? Okay. And then it's all the things that you have to do before you close on the facility. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do. So we're going to get into that. And then stage 3 is, okay, now I bought this facility. Now what do I do? And it's all the things that you have to do in order to get your facility kind of up and running. Right. That's the management part, getting the management all set up. And then finally, stage 4 is like, you know what? I feel kind of a little bit better. It's been a couple of months now since I've owned this facility. I'm going to get out. I'm going to start looking for another facility. And on top of that, I'm going to really work on automating this facility and systematizing it so that it is true passive income, right? So those are kind of the 4 stages. I teach finding, funding, and bill analysis. That's what I'm good at. My husband teaches onboarding and management. And then Guy is one of our coaches for Storage Nerds, and he comes on. He comes on every couple of months, and he teaches how to market for tenants and how to truly become like an online business. Because guess what? When you buy a storage facility, you become an online business, right? You have to be able to market yourself online. That's the way that the world's turning now, especially for storage facilities. So anybody that thinks that you can just put a sign in the front of your storage facility nowadays is just not, it's not going to make it. And essentially you're going to be one of those facilities that I buy in the next couple of years. We don't want that, right? So let's learn how to truly market ourselves online and to become a brand, a storage facility brand. Okay, so those are the 4 stages. That's what we're going to do this Saturday and Sunday. So if you're interested in coming to that boot camp, then please go to StorageNerds.com and apply to become a student, because only students are allowed to come to the boot camp. Okay. All right. So let me get started. So I want to talk about like all the different ways that we can find storage facilities today, and then how I personally do it myself, how Chris does it. He's my acquisitions person, and how we now have 3 facilities under contract that we're pitching to lenders right now to get funding for, and on top of that. We have a 4th one that we're about to get under contract. So how is Chris finding all these facilities? I'm going to show you how we do that now. Okay. So let me share my screen, and we are going to get into Google Maps. Now, and actually, while we do that, what I want to do is I want to kind of have a question to everybody out there. Is if you were interested in renting a storage unit, okay, in your area, where would you go to rent the storage unit? Okay, where would you go is the question. And you could put that into the chat. What is the fastest growing search engine in the country right now? What's the fastest growing search engine is another question. And where would you go to find your facilities? Now we all go online. Okay, so I just talked about that. We're going to go online, but where online would you go? Specifically, what would you do? Where would you go? Let me know in the search. If you wanted to rent a unit, where would you go to look? Would you just drive around until you found a storage facility? Right? No, nobody's going to just drive around and randomly find a storage facility. Nobody goes to the yellow pages anymore. Now, one of my students did buy a facility where the only place that he did his advertising was in the yellow pages, still to this day. So he had never changed that in the last 20 years that he owned the facility. But nowadays, nobody goes to the yellow pages. All right. Nobody goes to the yellow pages. So where do they go? To find storage, right? We all know. Everybody was posting this out. All right. Yes, I saw Google Maps. All right. Yes, Google Maps, somewhere that has good reviews online. I would say the fastest engine is Google. Yes, Google search. I just use my general search engine and see what pops up. I would Google nearby facilities and choose based on the price and location. And then it says looking for something that feels safe and neat. I don't think I've looked at yellow pages in 20 years. Exactly, right? So that's exactly right, Anthony. So you're right. Everybody nowadays goes to Google Maps. Now, I don't know, because I'm not an iPhone person. Is there Google Maps on iPhone, or do they have their own mapping thing? Because I'm not aware of how that works. Okay, so Google Maps is on iPhone as well as on the Android phones. Okay, good. And okay, so then what you would do is you essentially just get your phone, right? And then you just go to, it's kind of hard to see, but you go to You just go to Google Maps, or actually you could do exactly what some of the people said. They do like just storage near me in the search engine, or you go to Google Maps and you type storage near me, right? That's how everybody's finding their storage facilities nowadays, right? So you as the owner, your job is to be on Google Maps, because when you go to the Google search engine or you go to Google Maps, it's essentially it leads you to the same place, which is Google business listings, right? So as a storage facility owner, your job, once you close on your deal, your job is to get on Google business listings. Now, the truth of the matter is that getting on Google business listings is not easy at all. It's not easy. Has anybody ever has anybody ever put their business on Google business listings? And let me know, like, how it worked or whatever. See, the thing is that most storage facility owners, especially like the ones that I buy, the smaller mom and pop ones. Now, when you get into like bigger facilities that are like big businesses, like I would say maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, not even 200, maybe 300, 400, 500 units, that might be a little bit different. But I'm talking about these like kind of smaller facilities. We're buying a facility right now it's 217 units. I'm going to pitch it this week. And the owner still, he has no mailbox. He has no mailbox at all. In fact, he doesn't even use like a website or anything like this. It's a whole lot of nothing. Okay. So you want to be getting onto Google business listings. All right. And when you get onto Google business listings, essentially now we can go to Google Maps and we can search for storage facilities on Google Maps. Now, I always tell everybody, when you go to Google Maps and you look for storage, that most of the time, when you're searching storage near me, you'll find storage facilities that are obviously there on Google Maps. They went through the whole process to get onto it. But the truth is that there's probably a lot of storage facilities that are not on Google Maps. In fact, I talked to Jennifer, she's one of our students. I talked to her today, and we went through 9 storage facilities that she found while driving for storage, just within her radius of her little town, small town in Tennessee. And she found 9 storage facilities, and only one of them pops up with a website. Only one of them. Right. So the other 8 are like, they don't even have a website. So we want to find those facilities. Honestly, those are the ones that you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get into Google Maps. Before we do that, I wanted to read the comments here. Yeah, there's a couple I saw. Did I miss how to buy part of this? This seems to be about once you close on a facility. No, this is I'm going into how are you going to find storage facilities in order to purchase them. That is what I'm going over. But the truth is that how you find them is going to be on Google Maps, and storage facility owners need to get on Google Maps. But a lot of storage facility owners are not on Google Maps. Right. And the reason why, in order to get onto Google Maps, it ain't easy. All right. You have to set up a Google business listing. You have to go through the entire process of filling out your whole profile. You have to get a postcard in the mail, and then you have to take that code that you get into the postcard, and you have to come back, put the code in, and then they allow you to finish filling out your profile and become visible on Google Maps. Okay. So what I'm saying is that one way that we find facilities to purchase is by going on Google Maps and seeing what facilities are out there. But I use Google Maps as really kind of like a starting point. Okay. It's a starting point. And this is everybody's homework. Okay, this is your homework, is that you want to get onto Google Maps and you want to search storage near me and start looking to see what facilities are there near you. Now, if you're in a primary market, okay, if you're in a primary market, then what that means is that, you might have some oversaturation. There might be a lot of storage facilities there. And on top of that, like you might have, like the big ones like CubeSmart, U-Haul, Extra State Space Storage. If you're in a primary market, so primary market, obviously is going to be like a city, right? A downtown city or a city. Now, so for instance, like we're looking to purchase a facility in Augusta, Georgia. Augusta is 200,000 population. Population is very, very important when it comes to storage, right? And we'll get into that a little bit later. But so Augusta, Georgia has 200,000 people. Okay. Now we're looking at a storage facility that is in kind of like the South Georgia area, and within the radius of like a 3-mile radius of that facility, I think there was like 10 other facilities. So there's a lot of facilities, a lot of bigger facilities, not a lot of mom and pops, but mostly like bigger ones. And so you have to keep that in mind in primary markets, right? And so when you go to Google Maps and search Google Maps, actually, I just pulled that up and I'll show you what it looks like. So this one here is, let me see. Yeah, 2218 Rosier Road is the one that we have under contract and we're trying to purchase right now. Okay. And I always like to look in satellite imagery. I really like to just view it this way because I feel like you can see what the world looks like when you do it this way. This way, it's a little bit harder to tell like what all these buildings are and stuff, okay? When you start looking in Google Maps and really kind of familiarizing yourself with how Google Maps works, you train your brain to look at this. And in fact, when I drive, I always just use satellite imagery to drive. I don't ever use like this type of whatever this one's called. I don't use this because I've trained my brain so much to just have this up. And plus, I want to see like what all these buildings look like because guess what? I love looking at commercial buildings. I just love it, So, anyway, so this is our facility right here. And if you scroll out, and then you can tell, let me scroll in. So when you scroll in, you can see like what this facility looks like. Okay, so this is what a storage facility looks like most of the time. Now, a primary market, you might get like a square building that's like 3 levels high, right? But typical storage facilities, like what we want to buy, is like, going to look like long, skinny buildings, okay? Long, skinny buildings essentially are chicken coops and storage facilities. That's what I've learned in the Southeast. Y'all tell me if there's anything else that's like a long, skinny building, It's either in Georgia, it's in Florida, it's like chicken coops and storage. Okay, so and then what we're going to do, so now we're in Augusta, Georgia, and you could see, right, that we're like, once you zoom out, Augusta is kind of, here's the downtown area. So when you look at Augusta here, like this area, we're right outside of like the primary market. Like it's just right in the South Augusta area. But this, I would consider probably the 520 to the 20 would be probably inside of be like primary market, right? Now, every city has a different size primary market. All right. So we have another facility in Valdosta, Georgia, which is a population of around 75,000 people. They have a downtown area as well too, but their downtown area is like very small, very small. And the one thing I love about Valdosta, which is this like it's a town of 75,000, is that like we could pull it up and see, but I don't see like a lot of primary market facilities there, right? I did see like Federal Storage is there. Federal Storage is more of like a secondary market type of facility. Once you really start to get to know your area and get to know who the players are, you're going to start to recognize the same types of facilities over and over. And there's like a handful of like, all the REITs, all the big ones, but then there's like a handful of like secondary players. You know what I'm saying? That's like 10 Federal Storage is really kind of like, they own like, I think 20 or 30 storage facilities and they've got funds and all this stuff, but they really focus on those smaller facilities, not too small, but kind of smaller facilities. Whereas like, CubeSmart and U-Haul, they go out and they build these like huge big box facilities and stuff now a lot of times. So So that's why like playing around with going on to Google Maps, right? And really just going in here and just clicking this nearby, right? And saying storage near me, right? Now you can see too for ours, which is 2218 Rosier Road, there is nothing here. There's like nothing, all right? But we'll do like storage near me. And then we'll look it up and we'll just see kind of like what happens. And so you could put your address in and then you'll see. So these are all the facilities. Like I told you, there's like 10 facilities within this area. It's like a 3-mile radius. And so what you're going to want to do is really just like get to know who's out there. And you can do that by just looking here, so we can see like storage zone is here. You can see there's a public storage, Cube Smart, economy self-storage is like a dumpy old storage facility. Public storage is here, Now, when you click on, like when you start really looking, don't just look here at the map, but really click on and say, okay, like there's a public storage here. Let me look and see what this one looks like. And then you can click on it and start looking to see like what kind of facility is this? It got some boxes there. It's all red. They got a lot of red. It's fenced in the back. It's kind of a cream color. It's really nice asphalt, storage facility. These are all probably just like, what are they called? Stock pictures, these things. But here's the keypad here, right? Here's another stock picture. Here's another stock picture. I'm guessing, yeah, that's definitely a stock picture. Inside, right? They've got some boxes and stuff. Here's a keypad, right? Here's what it looks like. It's all fenced in. Look at this really nice fence and stuff. So you really start using Google Maps to educate yourself on what type of facilities are near you. So here's the economy self-storage, okay? And I'll take a picture of this. Oh, actually, let's go back. So economy self-storage is right here. Now look, now when you start looking at Google Maps, what you're gonna notice is that they should have like the address, the website, the phone number. Now this has a website, but it's emove.com. Let's click on that and see what emove.com looks like. Okay, so obviously it doesn't even work. It's like some random thing that I'm not going to click because I don't want to have spam. Okay, so you definitely want to click on the link to make sure it works. Okay. And then, what I'm saying? And then now this is what it looks like. You see there's something way back here. It looks like it's a long, skinny building. And it's like way back, and there's some back here. And maybe this property belongs to it, right? So it might have this commercial property with all this storage here, okay? So this is definitely an older one. This is a great one to actually, look at to see if you want to call the owner and, see if he wants to sell, as well too. Like for me personally, I would say like, okay, yeah, this is something, but maybe like this would be a good first facility, okay? And, and then you can use Google Earth to really kind of get to know like kind of the area, you see. So you can see here, he's got some U-Hauls here. All right. This is Allstate Insurance. So he rents this out to Allstate Insurance. And then it comes with these buildings here. And now, what we can do is let me see if let's just try, let me see if I can copy this address here. I use a website called Landglide. All right, you have to pay $10 a month to use this, but this is a website where you can come in and you can see all the personal data, or not the personal data, all the public data of an address. Okay. So let's just say this address is 3661 Peach Orchard Road. Let's see if it comes up. 3661 Peach Orchard Road in Augusta, Georgia. No, it doesn't come up. Let's see. Let's see if we can get it to come up. Sometimes the roads don't come up, but should you want to play with it? You have to kind of play with the words and stuff. But this is not coming up at all, so we won't use that. Let's see. Actually, let me see if I can pull mine up. I think mine comes up. Rosier Road, Augusta. Yeah, see, this one comes up right here. Okay, so this is what it looks like on Landglide. And and so yeah, so this is it. This is not one. This is it. A&A Storage is the one that we have under contract right now. And so you want to get into LandGlide as you're looking around to see like what the property line looks like it as well too. Okay, so sometimes I would say most of the time it comes up, and every once in a while it doesn't come up. But then also on the property, it shows you the county link. Okay, so you can click on that, and then it will take you to the public site, and then it will give you all the information about the facility, right? So this is it, and then it gives you like, this is the car wash. It doesn't show it up. Actually, you know what? I think the way it works, I think it has like an A and a I think that has like an A on here, if I remember, like unit A or something, but it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that you can click on the county information, and then you can see all the public data, which would look like this, right? So you could tell when the sales were, you can see like, when the buildings were being built, and like what they're valued at, what they're paying taxes on, right? And then like, here's what it's assessed as, right? It's assessed as $36,000. Okay. And then you could click on the assessments and stuff. And then they also have pictures, and then they have like a map of it as well too. So there's really a lot of information even on the public side. Now, some counties have more information than others, so it really kind of just depends on what your county does. Some of them have a lot of information, some of it doesn't have any information at all, or whatever. So, if you don't see this, maybe it's just not like they're not connecting, or maybe they don't give out as much information. Just so you know, but play around with LandGlide. LandGlide, I have this on my phone. It's actually an app that they just opened up as a desktop, so I think that's why a lot of the properties don't come up on the desktop yet. I think they're still trying to fine tune that, because that really just happened like maybe in the last 6 months. But on the app, if you put any address in, it'll come up. I mean, it works awesome on the app. So when I'm driving for storage and I say, okay, oh yeah, I'm going to go check out that storage facility. When I'm checking the storage facility out, I'm checking all the competition in the area as well too. Right. So see, for some reason, like, these are all like kind of bigger names, right? So obviously this is like would be considered a primary market. But then you have economy self-storage, where maybe the owner was just like, no, I'm not selling, I'm never going to sell. And then you have mine, which is the A&A Augusta storage facility. And this one is also a little bit hidden. And when you get in and start looking here, you can see like economy is on this main road, and ours is kind of off like a road, but it's not like super main. Like you would say, this is the main road, and ours is right here. So it's kind of off this Windsor Spring Road, so that's kind of how you look. That's how you look on Google Maps. So really get to know Google Maps satellite imagery, and really just kind of, get in, search storage near me, and see if there's any random, facilities. If you're in a primary market that you maybe can find some smaller facilities that maybe the owners are just like, no, I don't want to sell. And then it's all about timing, honestly. When you talk to owners, I would say it's 80% timing and like 20% connection. I think that's really kind of how it works. It's 80% timing and 20% connection, right? They want to know, like, and trust you when you're talking to them. And I'm telling you, communication is key. All right. Okay. So, anyway, so now we're going to get out. Now we're in Augusta. Let's go to Valdosta. Let's see, Valdosta, Georgia. Okay, actually, let's do Miss Lillian's self-storage, and let's go to Valdosta. And is that here? Which one is this one? That's not it. No, I think I'm like way down here. Oh yeah, that's Valdosta. Okay, so here's Valdosta. And so as you can see, here's the Valdosta facility. You can see Miss Lillian's self-storage is right here. We have our phone number here. We have the address, right? So we have as much information as we possibly can filled out, right? And then you can do like storage near me, and You can get in there and check to see. See, now this one, as you can see, like this is a town of 75,000 people. Okay, this is not Augusta. Augusta has 200,000 people. Valdosta has 75,000 people. And as you can see, look, 10, I told you 10 federal storages here. There's also another one that's not, it's not super big, but I've seen a couple of them called King Storage. But a lot of like like mom and pop one owners, right? Mom and pop one owners. And so like when I get into a town of like, when I'm looking at a town of 75,000 people, which is like, I mean, that's a big town. That's a big city. I mean, 75,000 people is a big city, right? I mean, it's bigger than all your suburbs that you live in of your areas. And, you know, so then I start looking around and I could see, look, Zakadu's storage is here outside. I mean, that's like, this is way outside, you know, too. And then you could say like, oh, wait, what does this look like? Because that looked like kind of like they must have converted something, or what the heck did they do on this storage facility? And, or maybe they built it, but they built it like out in the middle of nowhere. I can't really see anything very well. I'm not sure. It only has two pictures. It's very weird. Like this is a weird looking storage facility, but it has a Zakadu self-storage right here. So let's open that up, take a look at the website. And let's just see what it looks like. So they got a website here, customer support. They've got, so you can come in and you can pay online. This looks like an ESS. Is this, this is storable. Okay, yeah. So this is like, this is ESS or storage or SiteLink essentially is the software that manages this, right? When you see storable, they own 3 different types of software. They have SiteLink, storage, and ESS. We use storage on the back end. And all the websites, essentially, when you're using one of these 3, they all look exactly the same. That's why I could tell that it was definitely a storable website. But so you want to click in, check it out. It's got the website, it's got the phone numbers, it's got 13 reviews. That's another thing too. I saw somebody post that out. It's got 13 reviews. That is good. I mean, 13 5-star reviews, right, is good. So this obviously would not be one that I would contact. You know, I wouldn't contact this. I would get in there and try to look for like some that are like 3 or 4 stars, something like this. And let's just see if we can find something here. Look, this has 30 reviews, like 30 5-star reviews. So obviously they know what they're doing. They got the website going on, right? And I would just get in and start looking. All the ones that pop up, like A&M self-storage, I would be getting in there and just making sure that like everything is filled out correctly. Okay, that is it. 10 federal we know is going to be filled out. Valdosta mini storage. Let's check it out. We got 37 reviews. We've got the mid, I guess this is mid storage. Let's click on this one. It's not coming up. Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, so this one has no website. So this is a good one. Mid-South Super Storage. As you can see, it has no website. It does have a phone number though. Okay, and let's click on the picture. And let's just look and see kind of like what this thing looks like. It's all gated, so that's good. It's all asphalted. It's in some sort of big shopping area. Maybe it's behind this. I'm not sure. Let's look on satellite imagery and see. Okay, so let's scroll in. And let's see if we can figure this out. Yeah, so it's in a big area. So here's this big Valdosta mini storage. And then right next to this, you've got Mid-South storage, which looks like a little tiny, just that's it, the only thing right there. So it probably has like maybe 20 or 30 facilities, 20 or 30 units. Okay. It's probably just this big. Yeah. Cause I think we dropped down over here and it doesn't. So it's behind this. You could always get into Landglide, copy this address right here, and then you could just get into Landglide. I screwed it over, but get into Landglide, copy 379 Connell. Let's see, 379 Connell in Valdosta. Let's see if it pops up. 379 Connell in Valdosta. Here, no, it's not coming up. 379. Let me see if it's something else. Connell rolled 31602. Maybe that helps. I'm not sure. 31602. No, okay, it's not coming up. But I would check in Landglide or whatever software that you're using to look up like the property line and just see like maybe he owns like this cleaners or something, this whole property. And then he was like, oh yeah, I'll just put a little storage in the back or something, you know? So, but anyway, so that would be kind of like, that's how I'm looking in towns, like once, it's just storage near me. And then really just clicking on like Davis Creations self-storage. This one has a website, so let's check it out. Oh yeah, this looks like it's, yeah, this is a big one. That's how big this thing is. Yeah, that's a big one. Right. So now all these people that got onto, this is a nice sized facility actually, and it's got maybe some commercial warehouse or something. I'm not sure. But all of these people that are on Google Maps, they all went through the entire process of going onto Google My Business listings or whatever it's called, and then putting all their information in, getting the card, getting the code, going back, putting the information in, and then going back and filling all this out, which actually could take quite a while. I'm saying probably minimum a month, if not a couple months. Okay. And so that's why a lot of storage facilities are not on Google Maps. So what I'm saying is that when I go to Valdosta and I am looking at all these storage facilities in Valdosta here, okay, most likely there are some storage facilities that are not on Google Maps. Okay, most likely there's going to be some that are just like, actually the one that we bought, which is up here, right? This one here, this is where it was actually Metro Mini Storage, and see how it had, it was right there is where it was. It was in the wrong location. So we drove over and I said, oh, it's 3 stars. Let me go check it out. And then it ended up actually being right here is where it was. So this is where it is. And then I clicked on this, took a look at it, and this is really what it was. It was like Metro Mini Storage. And actually probably, I'm guessing that, let's see, Metro Mini Storage, 1 review, right? 3 stars. That, yeah, is, and the person that owned it had a manager. The manager was horrible, honestly. She was so bad, but she's probably the one that figured out how to do this. And I'm not 100% sure. Oh, you know what? That's what it is. That's what it is. She's the manager and she lived right around the corner. So she must have lived like right up the street up here somewhere. And she probably used this as her address. And so like, and then she got that thing sent to her mailbox is what it is. Because when we bought that facility, there was no mailbox there. We put the mailbox up, and then we got the card. And guess what? Somebody hit the mailbox and then knocked it down, and we never put it back up. We never even put it back up. In fact, we don't get any mail. We just send all of our mail to our mailing address. We have 1 mailing address. And so like there's never ever any other mail that comes to our facilities ever, except for this card. When we buy the facility, we buy the mailbox immediately. And that's actually part of the onboarding process. And we'll talk about that in the boot camp this weekend, right? So for anybody that wants to join, but yeah, so when all of the facilities we have 11 facilities, there's never been a mailbox at any one of the facilities that we've ever bought. Okay. And then we put the mailbox up, and then it's just there. It never gets any mail ever again. And then this one, like I said, from Valdosta, somebody knocked it over, and now it's like, we're just like, whatever, we don't need a mailbox here anyways. So anyways, okay, so that is Google Maps. Now, now think of this. So I would personally say that Augusta is most, in the greater Augusta area, it's going to be a primary market, right? And then now you have a 200,000 population here. Obviously this huge loop, this is all primary. And then you even saw outside of Augusta, all in here was all primary market. Okay. Now I didn't look up in this area. Let's see, nearby. And I didn't look up in this area, but yeah, so you can scroll up like in this area and then just search nearby and then really just look and say, okay, North Augusta, I see a U-Haul neighborhood, but that's probably just like a truck, like just a dealer. Yeah, it's just a truck rental. And look, there's Poe Storage, Tiger Storage, Sense, U-Haul neighborhood. So I'm guessing that like the North Augusta area is like not as popular as the South Augusta, right? Because in the South Augusta area, right, it's all primary market down here. Okay, so we'll search here, and then when you see like all of these storage facilities, all the big ones, and that's still primary market. It's still considered primary market. You may start getting into secondary market because a lot of them are looking in secondary market now because the market's so hot and stuff. But the truth of the matter is most likely it's still primary market. So let's zoom in and let's see if we can figure out when primary market ends and secondary market begins, right? So you have primary, secondary, and tertiary markets. Okay. So now you can still see CubeSmart, Public Storage, Gate 5 storage. And then when you click on them, if it's a beautiful storage facility that's like big and stuff, well, that's going to be primary market, right? And then you start searching again and you search over here. And so Secure Care is still here. So it's coming on down. Fast Track is down here, and then Augusta Climate Controlled RV is here. RV storage is down here, but it's kind of sort of getting, it's getting less and less, as you can see. It's getting less and less. And so now you're getting into secondary market, maybe even tertiary market. But now there's a lot of people that live in this area over here. But then as you can see, like down here, this is like there's not a lot of storage facilities on Google Maps. But what I would do is I would be driving in this area. I would drive. So obviously they saw a need out here for a couple of different storage facilities. Are there any other storage facilities that are in this area? I mean, look, there's like hardly any storage facilities that are popping up over here. You know what I'm saying? And there's like, let's see, let's look over here and let's see, is there any storage facilities over here? Like it starts like just, there's like none over here. And then let's see over here. So when you start looking on Google Maps and you see like the storage is like fading a little bit, you're like, okay, yeah, there should be more storage in that area. I'm going to go take a look and see if there's facilities that are out there that are not on Google Maps. And so what I do is I use Google Maps to search and see if the Google business listings are filled out properly. All right, that's step one. And then step two is, okay, so now I have this kind of idea of where primary to secondary market ends and begins. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to be looking tertiary to secondary market and really driving around what I call market research, right? This is like, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to really look and see where does the secondary market end and where does the tertiary market begin? Because most of the time, those are the areas that are being gentrified and built out, and like, there's new construction and things like that going on. So the question is there really only one storage facility from here to here, or maybe all in here? My guess is that probably there is some others like hiding up in this area, but you just have to find them. All right. And so the way that I'll do that is I'll either drive for storage, okay, or I'll look on Google Maps satellite view. And you could do this virtually as well and sit there and just really look around. If you see a lot of storage facilities in the area, see, like this to me, these look like a lot of, I don't know if this is just being built out, this area. Like, look, looks like new subdivisions are coming out here. So maybe, look, here's this Sudlow storage, right? Maybe this is like new subdivision area, and maybe this is where people, like right here, is this something or is this an apartment? You see, that looks like a storage facility to me, honestly. That looks like a storage facility right here. This looks definitely like a storage facility. Oh yeah, here it is, Tiger's Eye self-storage. So you know what I'm saying? So I would look out and be like, okay, is there storage in this area? You know, is there storage that's being built? I mean, you know, because eventually these subdivisions and all this land is going to be built out. So maybe this is where I should build something if there's not enough storage in this area, or maybe there's already stuff that's been out here, and we can call the owners and we can talk to them, and they're just not on Google Maps. They're not on Google Maps, okay? And that I call the hidden market. And like I said, we have 11 storage facilities, and I would say pretty much most of them, I'm guessing maybe 1 or 2 have been on Google Maps, and the other ones were never on Google Maps. And I did exactly what I'm doing here now, which is just using satellite imagery to find storage facilities, right? And it's a little time consuming, I get it, you know, but I'm telling you, when you find a storage facility that's not on Google Maps, it's the best. I'm telling you, if you can get those owners to sell, you get the best bang for your buck on those types of facilities. You get the best bang for your buck, because you can most likely triple the value of those facilities a lot of times. Okay. Now, also another thing that I wanted to show you was, let me see if I can do this again. When you start finding facilities, you want to get into put everything onto a spreadsheet and start keeping track of that. So I'm just getting into our coaching software, and I'm going to show you actually the population spreadsheet that I have. Students get access to this kind of stuff. If you're a student, this is all like for students, but at least I can show everybody so you get an idea of how it works. This is the population spreadsheet. And then let me go back into spreadsheets. Population master contact sheet is what it is. The master contact sheet. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if that works. Okay. Yes. So this is, oh no, this is guest speakers. That's the wrong one. Let me see. Hang on. Contact. Master contact. Master contact. No, maybe it's follow up. No. Let me see. Let me find it. Hang on. Spreadsheets, templates, master contact, population, templates. It must be master contact. It must be master contact. Let's see, contact, follow up. Yeah, follow. Oh yeah. So this is kind of like what we had here too. I'll show you like what ours look like. So this is like us keeping track of all the storage facilities that we find. Don't mind the colors and stuff, because my like office manager handled all this. But like you can see that we're doing name, property address, phone number, owner, manager, and then any, like as we're driving, we have like links to Google photos. We have the email, the contact sheet, and sorry, the contact address, and then the web address. Okay, like if they have a website. So, and then we'll just list all these down, and then we'll keep track of who we're contacting. All right. And like all the information, phone numbers. And if she skip traces it and gets all the information, then you can see that's why they have so many phone numbers here, is because she's skip tracing that information and trying to get a hold of the owners. Okay. And we keep track of all that right on this spreadsheet. So you want to, like, as you're going through Google Maps and finding facilities, you want to be putting all those down so you can keep track of them. And so now we have like, I mean, we've got a list of like thousands and thousands of people that we found by doing this, right? And so because we've been in like a lot of different states and stuff. But so then, like, because you don't want to get all confused on like who have we been contacting and what have we been doing now. She has this like color code system, like that's how for doing it with her. So she had like green and reds and yellows and stuff. You could do it any way that you want, right? I used to just put like a note section and keep everything in the notes. Now, and then now when you get this list, right, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is all of the different ways that you can contact owners, right? So just calling up and trying to see if an owner's there is like one way, right? If you look at the sign, you can just call the storage facility up, and then you could just, you could just call them to see if they're there. But if they don't answer the phone, because guess what? Storage facility owners are like the most unmotivated, least likely people to answer phones, right? Especially if you're full. If they're full, they're just like, whatever, I don't need any help, And then they'll answer the phone and they're like, oh yeah, I've got one available, somebody's leaving in a couple of weeks, right? That's kind of how it works. They answer the phone only when they actually have to answer the phone. Okay. So if you start making your list up and you have all the lists of all of the people that that you're finding, now you have to figure out what your follow-up is going to be. Okay, so your follow-up is, getting, the address of the facility, the phone number of the facility, the owner's information of the facility, the email address of the owner and the email address of the facility, the owner's address, the owner's phone number. Right, so you want to get all of this information, and you do that by what's called skip tracing. Okay, so just looking up the phone number and calling the facility's phone number is like not gonna cut it for like most of the people that you talk to. You want to skip trace, right? Skip trace the information, and it usually costs about $1 per skip trace, maybe $2. I'm not sure. So it's not like a lot of money. But if you're driving for storage, or if you're looking online and you put it like a list together of like 30 people. All right, of course, the first thing that you want to do is just call and see if the owner answers. If the owner answers, awesome. Like, then you don't have to skip trace. Okay. But if the owner doesn't answer, then you have to skip trace. Okay. And skip tracing means that you go onto a site like American Tracers or Been Verified. If anybody has ever skip traced anything before, put which site that you use. I used to use American Tracers, but I think they're kind of like not working out very well anymore. So now you could try Been Verified. I personally use IDI. But there's like so many skip tracing companies. Now, each skip tracing company is not created equally, right? So if you find one that's like, oh yeah, it's 35 cents to skip trace. Well, guess what? Like that skip trace is going to suck. And then you find one that costs like, $2 or $5 or something like that. Like it's going to be a little bit better, right? Now, I think Been Verified is free, and a lot of people say it works. I've never really used it. So you might want to give that a go and then call everybody. But then if it doesn't work, you're going to do some research to really figure out, okay, like which skip tracing companies actually truly like look and give you like real data, real information. Okay, because all they're doing is really just pulling from like county records and like things like that, and sometimes that stuff's not updated. So you're going to create this beautiful list of all these storage facilities that you're going to find. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to call them and see if they answer the phone and if they want to sell. And if they answer the phone, if the owner answers the phone, awesome. If a manager answers the phone, then not awesome, right? Because like 99% of the time, like the manager is just like, no, they don't want to sell. Okay, so now we tell our manager, Bonnie, I tell her, if anybody ever wants to sell, just let me know, because I want to talk to them and see what they're going to pay. I mean, maybe they could pay like triple the price or something, but like most managers don't do that because they don't want to lose their job. So if you get a hold of a manager, what you do is you want to just pretend that you're like a customer. And then you could really like, I say, oh yeah, I'm just like here. I'm just really, interested in your facility. I'm looking for a unit right now. And I'd like to know like what sizes you have and how much they are, right? If you start doing that, you can add that into your sheet. So you know that like just if something happens and you do get a hold of the owner, you'll know that they have 20, 10 by 10s and 30, 10 by 20s and like, 40 5 by 10s or whatever it is, what I'm saying? So, and you can start talking to the owner and they'll give you a lot of information. If you talk to the manager, they'll give you a lot a lot of information, right? So you don't want to just not talk to managers and go, oh, sorry, I got the wrong number. You want to like actually talk to them. Okay. Now, if you don't get a hold of them, then you're going to go and skip trace that information. And you're going to put it into the sheet, just like Emily put all those phone numbers, all those addresses, emails and stuff. She put that all right into the sheet. So we had that. Now, anytime Chris, our acquisitions person, can just go to that sheet and then call anybody up and just check to see if anybody wants to sell, right? And because we had like an office manager that did all the skip tracing for us and kept everything worth. And then Chris is the one that's like calling and searching and doing this kind of stuff. Okay. Now, also, so now you're going to have the facility with the facility's phone number, the facility's not email address, but the facility's address and phone number. Okay. And website, basically, if they have one. Okay. So now you can send a letter to the facility saying that you want to buy their facility. You can call them and leave a voicemail if they don't answer, or talk to them, or you can text message them and just see if it works. If it might be just their personal phone number that they're using, right? A lot of storage facility owners just use their own cell phone, right? So you might want to just text them too. And then also you're going to get their email when you skip trace them, and you can get the email of your facility, or like even their personal emails sometimes too. So you just email everybody. And sometimes when you skip trace them, you also get like family members, right? And you'll see that like these are the family members. And then you can like email them or text them as well too and say, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of this owner. Like, do you know anything about it? So, and then you also get the owner's information, and you get the owners, like, in the last 10 years, these are the phone numbers that they use. These are the email addresses that they use. These are the addresses they use. Now, sometimes you get like a bazillion addresses, and sometimes you get one. Like if they're moving around a lot, then, you're going to get a lot of addresses, but a lot of times you just get like one or two. So like the rule was for us is like, if you get one or two addresses, maybe tops 3, send a letter to all of them, call all of them, text all of them, email all of them, right? If you get like 100, then just try a couple of them, keep track of those. If those don't work, try the next batch or something like that. Because you don't want to be like sending out 10 letters to addresses and getting them all back and stuff, right? So we would just try and test a couple of them and then see if those letters came back. And she really did she was keeping track of all that. And then if letters did come back, she would come back and check her sheet, and she would even skip trace that sometimes as well. So we were really we did a lot of skip tracing over the last couple of years, and we found a lot of storage facility owners that way is what we did. Okay. So now I've been over like how you can use Google Maps to find a storage, how you can look at a satellite imagery to find storage. And then also on top of that, how you can find the hidden market, right? You can try to get out there and try to find storage facilities that are not on Google Maps. All right. And then on top of that, when you find all these facilities, keep them in a good order, right? So put them on some sort of a sheet so you can keep track of them, and then follow up with them. All right. So this is not one and done. And the reason why is because there's only a handful of storage facilities in the world. There's not a lot of storage facilities. I'm guessing like maybe 25 to 30 mom and pop owners, and all the rest of them are like big box companies and stuff too. So if there's only 25 to 30,000, mom and pop owners, that means that there's only a handful, 500 to 700 in each state, right? So you could put a list together of 500 names, like easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then if you just try them one time, you're like, well, crap, I called everybody once, then like, okay, I guess I'm just not going to work, right? No, that's why you have to keep a sheet. You have to follow up. You have to keep following up. And the rule is that you follow up with every single owner until you get a hold of them. And you need to be getting a hold of them every couple of months. Okay, that is how good your follow-up system should be. It's over and over. Like we just got one under contract that I just pitched, and the owner 3 years ago, he did not want to sell. And now we've been contacting him. We finally contacted him again. He said, yeah, I'm kind of ready to sell now. So it took a long time for us to follow up and to find that facility, to get that facility owner to sell to us. Okay. So those are my tips for, I want to find storage facilities to buy. How do I do that? Okay. Now that is just like a handful of tips, right? In the boot camp, I will give you 10 to 15 different ways to find storage facilities, but those for me are like my favorite. So I like to talk about those. And I feel like over the course of the last couple of years that I've been doing this, when I do that, I find the best deals versus going online and looking for facilities. Okay. Going on like, Crexi or LoopNet or something like that. Crexi and LoopNet are like at the bottom. That's the bottom, like 14 and 15. All right. So I want to give you some other ways to do it in the boot camp. Okay. So hopefully you can join my 2-day boot camp this weekend. Just go to StorageNerds.com. And then also another thing, before I forget, if you do listen to the podcast, or if you do podcasts, if you could go in there and review my podcasts, that would be awesome. Because the more reviews that I get, the better rankings I get on my podcast. Okay. So, and the podcast is called Storage Nerds. Okay. All right, good. So I appreciate everybody hopping on, and I look forward to seeing all my students tomorrow in the mastermind. And hopefully I'll see more of you in the boot camp as well this weekend. Okay. So I am here to help you on your journey, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Okay. All right. Take care and have a good evening.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.